So, Bigpod,
What?
just to let you know, I have an announcement to make.
Really?
Yeah. I have successfully completed my first ever Pathfinder 2 campaign.
Really?
We played from session 1 all the way to the final session this last weekend,
Nice.
which means that I fit in the 10% of the tabletop RPG player base that actually completed a campaign, not because of scheduling issues. Cue the music. Hey guys, welcome to No Talks Allowed. I'm your host, Josh, and today I'm wearing a beautiful white t-shirt that's not brand new. Shocker, I know. But with me today, I brought Bigpod. All the
Hi.
way from Europe.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Bigpod,
What?
just to let you know, Ubuntu 26.04 released, and we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly true. Heaven forbid. It's Ubuntu. It releases every April on schedule. I mean, yes, it is the LTS release, and yes, I guess that matters. But I just figured we'd mention it.
Yeah. I'll probably download it sooner or later, as I'll be installing a new server, and I wouldn't even know that I downloaded a new version. It will just work.
I just have a
And that's
USB key.
all I care about.
I have a USB drive just eternally plugged into my server that just has the Debian installer on it. So it's just like, yeah, I can just reinstall Debian at any time. Alright, so, anyways, now we're going to be starting off right away today with Valve Watch.
Oh, really?
Yes, because, I've already got money pwned up on on my Steam account to get this thing.
Really?
Yes, I have $120 of Steam credits. I'm going to be buying this as soon as it's
Wait.
available.
Wait. It's $120.
I mean, it's $99, so I'll have enough to still buy a video game afterwards.
Okay.
I just have that much store credit.
$99 for a controller.
It's a fancy controller.
Still, it's a controller.
That's true. Well, anyways, Valve has announced the Steam controller. It's not the Steam controller 2. It is the Steam controller. So, and we've been kind of watching this for a hot minute now. This is the controller that's going to be shipping with their upcoming game console. The Steam machine, to go with their VR headset, the Steam Frame. But I'm actually kind of glad that they released the controller first, just to prove that they have a product.
Yeah.
Now, it's not supposed to be coming out until the 4th of May, which is probably not that far from when this episode comes out.
Well, if I look at the calendar really quickly, it's the day
Oh, hey, what do you know?
this episode comes out.
So, you should probably buy your controller because I know I already am. They're not doing pre-orders on it. I just confirmed that earlier. So, I can't pre-order the controller. But, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Well, I, on the other hand, I'll have to wait a bit longer for my Steam product.
Well, I'm sorry that Valve is a North American company. But
Well, it isn't. It's a New Zealand company,
yeah,
technically,
I
I guess.
But anyways, I figured I'd link the Ars Technica report for it. But I've seen a couple of these reviews for the Steam controller, and yeah, it might be a little bit overcosted. But for what it is, it's actually not seemingly like that bad of a controller. So, it does have like the two dual touchpads on it, just like what like the Steam Deck has. So if you already have a Steam Deck, you're gonna even the layout looks kind of the same for it too. So you'll it's a similar experience to what you currently have, which honestly, it's got like that classic PlayStation style button layout, which if you're a lifelong PlayStation gamer, you kind of just got used to it. I mean, yeah, it's got like the extra fancy buttons on the back of it that I've never found much use for. But here's the beauty of it. It has a built-in gyroscope,
Yeah.
which means that you can have like the motion controls that no game's ever really made a whole lot of use of. But it is, but because it's a hardware device, it can get a little. And the magic of Steam input means that you can use the motion control for controlling like your mouse centering. You might be able to get a little cheaty in the FPS games if you really want to with this controller.
Or for example, in racing games, you could simulate an essentially a wheel.
Yeah, which hey, that's pretty cool. Actually, I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. That's actually a really good idea. I'll have to try it. I do have a couple racing games on Steam, but I really can't play because it's kind of hard to control like car steering with just a keyboard.
Yeah.
But uh, the little dock thing that they have for the controller, that's actually looking like it's about every bit as we expected it to be. Uh, According to ours, the controller does support just like native Bluetooth, so you don't really need the dock to use the controller,
Yeah.
which is what they advertised. So we were kind of expecting that. But they were saying that if you use the dock, which by the way, it supports is just a standard USB human interface device, which means that's literally just plug and play everywhere.
Yep.
You don't even have to pair the controller, because you got to remember that the dock is using a different Wi-Fi protocol than 2.4 gigahertz. I think it's like on 900, right, or something like that.
So it's not actually Wi-Fi; it's just wireless.
Yeah, I can't remember the frequency that it operates off of, but it's not
I don't
2.4
remember
gigahertz.
either.
Which you'll probably have to like reference like our first episode when they announced it, because we really dug through like the documentation for Steam controller. But that's good that you don't really need to install like a standard driver for it, which means that'll work on basically all of the operating system platforms, phones included.
Yep. Okay. I don't see. Which what is using. I'm looking at their page, but I can't find. Which is probably because I'm searching and can't find it.
Yeah, probably. But the one criticism that I generally see for like a lot of places is that if you have smaller hands, you'll kind of struggle with the controller. But at the same time, I think Linus Tech Tips said it himself. 80% of a controller's value for like the individual person is really just entirely subjective. Like I have a controller right here. This is a goalie kit controller that I bought like forever. It is a very comfortable controller. Like it fits in my hands perfectly, but my sister can't use it because her hands are way smaller than mine. So she absolutely hates it.
Yeah.
So it and the biggest kicker for it. The biggest kicker is that you can get the Xbox Elite controller for about half the cost of the Steam controller. So, if you're looking for a good controller for the price, this controller might not be worth it. But let me sell you on this, Bigpod.
You're gonna have a hard time. I'm not a controller guy.
I know you're not a controller guy, but if you're looking for a controller that works with, say, your Steam machine build, say
Yeah.
that just works out of the box. Don't need to mess around with like the Bluetooth, and has
Yeah.
perfect, absolutely perfect Steam input integration, which means that you can literally remap that controller to do any kind of button press on your keyboard or mouse movement. This might actually be the controller for you.
Okay. Well, and again, as I said, the device I am waiting for is sadly still not not having nothing more announced about like price stuff like that.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of iffy to announce a price on the other two products, given
Yeah.
the market right now for just memory.
Given that they use, I believe, 24 and 16 gigabytes of RAM
Yeah,
between them.
yeah, it's a little awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm waiting for my Steam machine. And Valve, I wouldn't mind a review sample or three.
I wouldn't mind one either, but at the same time, it's not like we can't just build our own Steam machines.
Sure,
I mean,
but
there are
the
purpose
form
built.
factor. The
Well,
form
yeah,
factor.
the form factor for it is kind of unique. It's smaller than like a custom built ITX PC,
Exactly. And I don't want to deal with building an
and
ITX machine. That's the catch.
it. I'm hoping that at the very least it meets like the same price as like any of those AMD Ryzen 5 like mini PCs you can buy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's in that price range.
Like if it's below 1,000, I'm gonna be running towards my monitor with my credit card so hard. It's not even going to be funny
Yeah.
because it will be mine. One at least. And later on, second one probably.
All right, so let's move on from here, Bigpod, because I need to first of all warn the visitor or our listeners and our viewers. It's probably going to get nothing but bad news from here for the show.
Yay.
Yeah, because the FTC came out with a report, which is the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, the people that are supposed to monitor how money is spent in America, right?
Okay, yeah.
They came out with a report saying that, hey, there has been $2.1 billion lost to scams just on social media services.
Really?
With 30% of people who reported losing money to these scams saying that they began from social media itself, from
Makes
standard
sense.
posts. Another
Makes
40%
sense.
said that they ordered an item that they saw from an ad, showing a range of products like clothing, cosmetics, car parts, and puppies.
Makes sense.
It led them to non-official websites for the product. So, fake websites
Yeah.
that, offered big discounts to, attract the buyer's interest. And,
Exactly,
kind of
yes.
just took their money and ran away with it. There were also like investment scams that came once again through the advertising services these social media services
Of
are running.
course, but like investment scams are like dime a dozen, so no wonder
Yep.
people get got by them.
Now, here's the kicker. Marketplace scams. So, I am an American, right? And
Yeah.
as a result, I have a Facebook account because I've been on the internet for longer than 10 years.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
just kind of thing that happened with all of us Americans. Now, the Facebook market does not tell you if a post is an ad or if it's an actual listing by somebody. Well, it tells you on the desktop version, but it doesn't tell you on the mobile applications. So you kind of just have to kind of guess and
Yeah.
just tap on it. It turns out that that's kind of deceptive, right?
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be an ad on the marketplace. You're wanting to buy a product, so you and they support being able to pay over their own payment service. So when I buy a product off of the marketplace, there's a high chance that I might not get the product that I just bought.
Yeah.
Because it's coming through like these ad things. At what point do we hold these social media services? We hold these services responsible for the goddamn advertising that's on their platforms. I mean, seriously. I mean, Facebook is like the only one that I really scroll through besides like Mastodon. So it's really the only one I can really complain about. But like, I see like stuff for. I see stuff for like tabletop role playing games that I personally don't fucking care to actually get. But it's just like I'm just sitting there looking at them and it's like there's no way that's going to be a real product that I can get. So I know that I'm not going to buy it. But say like I show an interest in like buying clothes and trying out fashion trends. That's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of that kind of just validates the guy that only ever buys things from Amazon.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Not that
Yeah.
anything that you buy on Amazon might be necessarily the real product, because Amazon's got its own issues with that. But at least with Amazon, you can actually get some customer support and get your money back.
Yeah. Like, I've seen some really bad cases of people believing into scams. Stopped some myself from them getting into worse trouble. Like, sure, losing a bit of cash isn't a problem, but sending in bank details and stuff like that can be sometimes really sketchy.
Yeah. And this stuff is like easily scanned for on these platforms. Like even if it's just like a keyword index flag. That's just like worth at least running. I mean, yeah, I understand that there's a CPU cost that's better spent on like your AI systems there for generating profit revenue. But it's just like, how long until the FTC starts holding these companies accountable?
Guess what? They make AIs. How come they can't set up an AI to check the website if the website is right?
Right?
That's all they have to do. Like,
but the AI system will
queries.
hallucinate. I mean, that's fine. That's why you have verification.
Better false negatives than false positives. Better false positives than false negatives.
Exactly. So, anyways, since we mentioned AI, we got to talk about AI now.
Oh God.
Yeah, because the U.S. Congress has proposed. Well, a U.S. senator has proposed a bill to regulate chatbots.
Oh.
And he's partnered with another senator from the opposite party. So that means that there's likelihood that this might actually become law just off of that fact alone. But this is in response to the several lawsuits that OpenAI is dealing with, which OpenAI has several lawsuits. One of which is a lawsuit of being filed by the parents of a teen who committed suicide because ChatGPT literally told him how to make a noose. So, these representatives are coming in and wanting to, regulate this. Now, the act that they're passing is a little dystopian because it includes one of our favorite topics right now in the world of open source: age verification.
Oh, great.
Yeah. It includes age verification, very, very broad restrictions that could even potentially, lock, the kids that they're trying to protect here from being able to access school tasks and stuff like that. And it's also, like usual, extremely vague, but it does have some very heavy penalties, which is something we typically don't see.
Great.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad that, they're putting in some heavy penalties, because, we don't see that very often. I don't know what the exact penalty amount is, because I haven't actually read the bill, because it's fairly big, and it takes time to read that. But I am at least going to be giving it a read. That way, I can understand what the heck is going on. But the Electronic Frontier Foundation has came out against this one. Which means that, it might be worth caring
Makes
about.
sense.
Might be worth caring about. But at least I'm glad that, they're making an attempt to regulate the AI chatbots. Lighted, this might just be in response because, John Oliver just did a wonderful video about AI chatbots, which which is available on YouTube. Just look up Last Week Tonight and listen to John Oliver, because, he did a whole 40-minute segment on how terrible the chatbots are, with not just ChatGPT telling people how to commit suicide, but, Grok telling people how to make pipe bombs, Gemini telling a girl that she was way too fucking fat, and so on.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, I know that the EU is also looking into some form of regulation. But what's it like over there, Bigpod? Are you hearing stuff just as bad about this?
Well, there is a lot of problematic news currently, but the actual provenance of that news has been called into question. So I'm currently not sure how much of the traffic we're hearing about all the different laws that aren't published by the European Parliament, European Commission itself, is actually true on social media. A lot of the actual statements that different accounts put out, I'm currently tracking as false in some way. So anything I read on social media currently about EU laws, I just disregard until I get a written statement from European Commission, our elected, essentially ministers, or our elected representatives in European Parliament.
Well, in other AI news, we got to talk about, identity verification.
Yeah.
Now, I am
Are
certain.
you human?
Yes. I am certain at some point, you, Mr. Bigpod, as well as, our audience, has had to fill out a CAPTCHA form.
Yes.
That little image that you have to type into the text box and hit submit.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out...
I've had to do many captchas.
Yeah, it turns out AI can read that. So in response, they change it from, just a CAPTCHA that you have to type in to a little thing that you have to drag to make the image make sense. Turns out AI can do that too.
Yeah.
So then you run like a tokens session verification thing, like, Anubis. Well, AI can get around that now too. So then you ask for a fake ID, or you ask for a picture of an ID. Well, it turns out AI can generate fake IDs too that are just good enough to pass.
Yep.
So obviously synthetic identity fraud is, being cited as, an issue. But with all these with like all these AI agent crawlers, or just the AI assistants, AI agents themselves, getting around all this, we have to ask, what can we do next? How do we solve this?
Give up.
I mean, that's probably going to be what's going to happen. But TN Global published this article called "We Built the Identity System for an Internet That No Longer Exists." This was written by the author Terrence Kwok, I guess is his name. That's an interesting last name, but which is kind of fun to say. But he says that more verification is not going to be the answer, because every new layer of verification creates a new surface for attackers to exploit and people to complain about.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, the enemy of security is convenience.
Exactly.
So he is proposing cryptographic identities. Now,
Yeah.
this is the core the core technical idea is using zero knowledge proofs. This is his proposal, right?
Yeah.
So there, now, he talks about like the benefits of hey, saying that hey, a user can confirm that they're over 18 without sharing the birth date, because they have this wonderful thing. They have this cryptographic proof that they are who they claim that they are.
Yeah.
But what kind of cryptographic proof are we talking about here, Bigpod? Do you know?
Is it possibly the something that starts with a B and has many links to it?
Unfortunately, no. Because he doesn't tell you.
Okay.
He just says, hey, let's create some form of cryptographic token of proof.
Okay, so let's then talk about this. So since we came from the previous topic where I also talked about how there is certain information on social media about EU that are definitely hard to prove that they're talking the truth. There is actually an effort in EU to make a digital ID, essentially a way to authenticate users with who they are actually digitally. Like ID, instead of having your own like national ID or passport, you have this digital ID as its digital counterpart, passport's digital counterpart. Well, one problem is that a lot of influencers, shall we call them, like chat accounts on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, are currently railing against it as a tool of mass surveillance.
Which it very
And I
well
have-
could be.
Yes. But at the same time, basically this sounds exactly the same. It's a digital ID,
Yeah. Now, for the reference
which
here.
could be a mass surveillance tool, but at the same time, guess what? I have a passport, I have a national ID. That can also be used as a tool of mass surveillance, because anytime my essentially social security number is checked, anytime my, I don't know, tax ID is checked, somewhere in some central database a ping is made that these people checked my social security number. These people checked my tax ID.
Yeah.
That will just make it easier for them and me on the internet, because I won't have to actually send any company my actual social security number. I'll just log into my digital ID provider, which is EU, and they'll just get the cryptographic data bit that yes, this is the person who it says that it is, or this is the person.
Well,
And this sounds exactly the same.
it gets even easier because it turns out that the majority of people have these things called smartphones, right?
Exactly.
Like in most moderately developed nations, there's a camera available that you can make use of.
And many
Just
of
get
us-
yourself. Well, hold on. Here's my proposal, Big Pod. Right? Digital IDs, probably a very good thing to have.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
we can just tie it in to like the person being born, just generate the ID for them right then and there. Make sure that it uses an integer long enough to account for like mass population growth in the future.
It
Because,
shouldn't be an integer. It should be a unique ID
well,
of some sort.
yeah, something like that, and just it'll be like some 700 character string of text somewhere at the end of the day.
4096 character.
Something like that, yeah. Something like that, right? You're probably never going to
4
remember it.
kilobyte string.
But
Yeah, you shouldn't need to.
Yeah.
Actually, not that you shouldn't need to. It should be impossible to remember, even except for maybe the humans with photographic or eidetic memories.
or
It
the
should
kind
be
of person that
impossible to
trains
remember.
themselves to remember that kind of thing.
Yes.
Because
yes.
that can also happen.
Only those kind of people should be able to remember that string.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
That said, that should be just generated for the individual, right? And then that's just associated with them for
Yep.
the rest of their life because it's entirely uniquely them. And if for some reason it ever gets compromised, just give them a new one.
Just database. This is now this guy.
Yeah.
Boom.
And you
Done.
just set like a pointer or something like that, going like, hey, this person has like these previous identities, and then just have like some basic two-step verification after that. Like, hey,
And,
where did you previously register that you were living at?
Yeah, and the guess is like the catch is at the end of the day, our social security numbers, whatever we call them in each country, like MSHA, SSN, whatever, doesn't matter.
Your
And
tax identity
IDs,
number,
or
effectively.
tax ID or whatever, like doesn't actually those are by very nature public information.
Yeah.
Because you give them away, yet they are treated as personally identifiable information. But guess what? A digital ID can be actually treated as both at the same time,
It could be.
because the string itself it's a code that is public information. Yet when you actually like give them the right pieces, the code and the bit from European server that you authenticate, then they get information out of it that is private in nature. It is actually the secure version of social security number.
Now comes the question of how do we then make use of this token, right? Because that's effectively what it is. It's an identity token for yourself.
Yes.
on like any platforms. Well, in most worlds, we already have these things called cards that we put identity on, right? Like, I'm
Yes.
certain that you have a physical identity card, Bigpod, right?
Yeah.
And it's got one. And it's
I do.
either got a built-in chip or a magnetic strip. You can just scan at the various services, right?
No.
Oh.
That's not how our IDs work.
I mean,
Our ID is just ID. It's just
yeah.
piece of plastic with our picture, our signature, and a couple of things.
Well,
on
here in America, we also have a magnetic strip and one of those little chips like what we have in the debit cards here too.
That's what we have only. That's the new version of them.
Yeah.
They're coming up with when I get my new ID, which should be in a couple of years, I think, because you have to get a new one every so often.
Yeah, because they got to monetize it somehow.
It's not really like, I don't think they actually even cover the actual making of it. That's
Yeah,
how cheap
probably.
it is, because you have to have one to even unless you get an actual fine here. But like I can go to when I'm gonna get a new one, I'm gonna get one with essentially an NFC tag in it.
Yeah.
And
Now,
a digital certificate.
the beauty of having the physical identity card is it provides you the ability to never have to remember that number. First of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we already have systems that exist in place here in at least the United States, where if you ever lose your ID card, you can provide a certain set of documents to be able to get a new one.
Yeah.
So we already have systems to replace them. So realistically, this might actually be a relatively cheap thing that we can just get up and running
Yeah.
with it. Now, obviously, here in America, we're going to have like some third party company run it, even though this should be entirely a government thing. And heaven forbid it
Yeah.
can, which if it's operated by the government, then it can be audited, then it be treated as a military classified asset, right?
Yeah.
Because that holds the identities for all the Americans. We need to keep that safe.
Yeah.
Unlike some private corporation who's controlling it for some reason, and then they leak the data, and then they come out and say, "Oh, that's not anybody's identity. That's just data that we lost." Thanks, Equifax.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. CFIUS might have a lot of work on its hand.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily against what they're saying in this article, because now,
Yeah.
for the record, the guy that wrote that is a manager it also runs a corporation called Humanity, which is a Web3 company. Which, if you don't know what Web3 is, that's like that's like the version of the internet that's all built off of like
blockchain, all built off of essentially Ethereum and its compute capability in quotation marks.
That said, the idea of using something similar to like the blockchain technology, probably not bad.
An immutable append-only database. Yes, please.
Yeah. Now,
which is what blockchain is when you look at it from a tech perspective. It's an immutable database that only has an append-only system. There is no way to delete. You can only add something with same ID.
So let's take a moment here, because I'm certain that somebody is immediately hearing blockchain and they're thinking Bitcoin, right? Let's separate blockchain from Bitcoin here, just real quick.
Yeah.
The way that a query works on the blockchain, and this is why all the crypto coins use a blockchain system, is that, say, when you decide that you're going to ask the blockchain, like, is this person real? Most blockchains by default will works off of a proof of work or proof of concept system, where they will come out and say that yes, this person did that thing on this day, and then there'll be another point in the blockchain they'll say yes, I agree, this person, I saw this person accomplish this thing on this day, and it's like multiple steps of authentication.
Kinda, sorta, but no. So problem is, like, you're mixing blockchain and blockchain-based currencies a little bit. So
well, I mean, that's kind of just how I learned how the blockchain started.
Let's first talk about how this works. Essentially, a blockchain is a type of a database where, as I said, append only. You can only add items onto it. You cannot remove from it. So you just, okay, this is the block, and the next block will be with this ID. This is the most basic understanding of a blockchain. It's essentially, for programmers, essentially a bit more complex linked list. Now, when you wanna pull data from it, one of the main features of blockchain is it has cryptographic checking whether the item is actually correct, and that's the part that is actually we're doing here. So the reason cryptocurrencies use blockchain is because when you add something to the blockchain, you need multiple nodes to independently first calculate the hash of the block, and then other computers to check if the data actually matches the signature. That's the actual, that's the part of what they use the whole work process. So they essentially use a type of database to do their monitoring.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's an actually very useful type of database if you have immutable data that you do not want to be changed. Because to be able to change a data in blockchain, you need to basically have absolute control over the database. So if you have many database nodes that aren't in control of a single entity, but you need them to like give them access, blockchain is a great way to do it.
Yeah, and bear in mind
Problem is it
if
got
you're going to
tainted
make any
by
kind of if you're going to make
by
any kind
its
of
example.
yeah.
It's, by the example the creator of the technology first put forward as an use for such a technology, it got tainted by that.
Yep. But the concept of like these cryptocurrencies, I do think is fascinating. And if we're going to be having a currency that's a modern day currency digitally backed, that's probably the best way to do it.
Well, yes, like having, instead of having actual like money, you just have you track the transactions. You do not track the the actual bits of money. You track the transactions. So you're going essentially the opposite way of doing money, like it's in real world, where we track the actual coins.
Yeah.
Like this. This is €1. You actually track where this coin was going.
Yeah, you track this coin
why,
was sent to this direction, and then this guy received this coin from this point.
Actually, no, you don't even track that. You track this amount of currency went there. This amount of currency went there. It doesn't matter which exact coin it is. These are two different coins. It doesn't matter.
Just as long as a coin of equal value was moved.
As long as this value is being moved, that's all it requires. It doesn't matter which like specific coin, which ID it is. You just you track transactions instead of actual pieces of value to get like actual value, and that has merit. Problem is that it isn't actually maintained and controlled by what we consider, what all of us could consider trusted centralized entities.
Yeah, which in the case of many cryptocurrencies, just random people's computers on the internet.
Yeah. What we need actual trusted entities to control them. That's why sadly banks will still need to exist, and government institutions like central banks will need to be the ones controlling such digital currencies. But in reality, we already are doing digital currencies.
Yeah,
Josh,
that
you
is
have
true.
a debit card or a credit card?
No, that is true. We've had like the credit standard for many years.
Yeah. It's literally just a line in a database. You got that much money in your account.
Yeah, so the problem with the problem with blockchain is that if you like search blockchain on Google or something like that, the cryptocurrencies are going to show up. But it really is a fascinating technology, and I do foresee that that being like the style of database in the future. That said, I think that's about all we have for the show today, Bigpod.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you would like to send us feedback, like say that, hey, you're a creator of a cryptocurrency and you want to talk about your currency with us, well, we might not want to talk about the currency, but we will gladly talk with you about your blockchain method.
Yeah.
Because heaven forbid, that's what we really care about. Because honestly, if you're going to
care about technology.
Yeah, that's what we care about. I don't care about the value of your coin. I just want to talk about the tech behind it. Or you just want to talk about how you're going to cancel us because we talked about the blockchain. Because I've seen comments like that before.
Talk to us. Tell us that.
Yeah, please tell us.
I really want to know.
Because
I really want to know how you're gonna do it.
I'm curious on your reasonings as to why. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment and hit the like button a little bit there because help us with the YouTube algorithm. But bear in mind, Bigpod, we do the stupid thing with our podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, we hosted ourselves on not necessarily real hardware that we control yet. That's in our future. It's inevitable in our future because I want to do it. That's why.
Yes, exactly.
It's inevitable, so it's going to happen one of these days. But if you subscribe to our RSS feed through in the just listen to the audio sample, which the majority of our audience are audio listeners still. They are touching our stack that we created ourselves. Bear in mind, it's not free. So if you want to give it, if you want to help us accomplish, pay for all that, because budget's getting ever tighter. You can go to patreon.com/notuxallowed. Drop us a couple dollars there. We will give you access to a premium audio feed that sometimes comes with bonus content.
Yeah. We actually had bonus content last week.
Yeah, we did. It was fascinating. So, drop us a couple dollars on the Patreon. Eventually, Bigpod will get around to sending you a link because he's the one that does that. Mostly because...
sadly, the platform we currently use doesn't have automation for that. But we are remedying that situation with a platform of our own.
Yes, because it just takes a minute to make it.
Yeah, it's been taking quite a minute. But hopefully sooner or later I'll be done with it, and then you'll enjoy our own made podcasting platform, which you'll be able to host your own podcast on. And believe me, I'll try to make it so it doesn't go down.
And here's the best part: if you do it right, Bigpod, if you do it right, the people that are currently subscribed to your RSS feed won't even notice a change.
Exactly. They won't notice a change.
That's the goal, at least. But anyways, guys,
that's how it will work.
That's how it hopefully works. But of course, if anybody wants to talk to us individually, we do have our own Mastodon accounts, because that's just our preferred social media platforms. Because it turns out that yes, I have a Facebook account, but I don't want to talk to you from my Facebook account because I hate Facebook. I'm just there because that's where my local. That's just where my local area community of the village that I live in. That's just where they all talk, because they're all old people.
Yeah.
So, as a result, if I want to understand what's going on in my local community, and I don't want to have to go up to and knock on every single person's door, that's just kind of where I have to be. But anyways, we have our own Mastodon accounts. If you make use of Mastodon, you know and understand what those links are. If you don't, I'm sorry. But of course, you can just send us an email. It's perfectly fine. It's safe. I send emails all the time. They work. The standard has been in existence for many, many years, to the point where you cannot complain about email being a proprietary service. Because it turns out that the protocol is entirely GPL and Free Software Foundation approved.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're using Exchange, which I'm sorry for you. But anyways, guys, that's it for the show. We'll see you next week.